But then there's also, you have to keep in mind, the South and the South are like, and then the North and the South. Did you say
fascinating.
that? Like,
it's fascinating.
Fascinating.
It's so fascinating.
Never heard
I feel
it
like
before,
I learned
but
a lot.
yes,
Yeah.
and I know all about it.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like I'm an expert now.
Yeah, it's electrons.
Hold on, is it the South and the South that go, right?
No, they go boop, boop,
Oh.
boop, 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 boop. And North and South, or South and North.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like if you folded
really
the
blows
Earth
your mind.
over itself, it would
We should get
suck
some magnets.
itself into
We
a
should get some magnets and
black
have a little
hole.
fun. Have a little fun with magnets.
We should. Welcome to Good Mythical More. Okay, so what's the most likely thing that can happen?
We were so confident about those magnets. That's the thing I loved.
Those guys right there.
I didn't think we could be that confident about magnets.
Rattlesnake. Yeah, I feel like I could. I've never run across a rattlesnake, but I've been in a lot of places where I could have. There's like signs.
Lots
watch out
of
for
signs for
rattlesnakes.
rattlesnakes. In fact, I went hiking
I'm opening this up, guys.
recently. Anytime you go hiking in the mountains around here, there's lots of signs about rattlesnakes. And I actually, I feel like when we were kids, I didn't worry about snakes. Like we would swim in the Cape Fear River and there'd be like a water moccasin like on the shore, or there'd be one like we had to like step right next to get into the water to swim.
We would take sticks and we would hit the marsh where we were about to walk.
And they would scurry out into
to
the
make
water.
the snakes go away.
And then we would get into the
walk
water.
through.
Weird, but like now, I'm hiking with my kids and I'm like, just getting a little bit off the trail, I'm getting totally freaked out because I think about things so much differently now. I'm like, if I get bit by a rattlesnake, that's gonna be a really bad day. And if my kids get bit by a rattlesnake, it's gonna be an even worse day.
And did you know what to do? Because I just picture myself, like one of my kids gets bit by a rattlesnake and then I'm like trying to Google on my phone with no service. Like, what do you do when a rattlesnake bites your kid?
The overarching rule is get to medical attention as quickly as possible.
But a tourniquet?
No.
Why not a tourniquet?
Because, especially with a rattlesnake bite, because it's the kind of toxin that causes tissue damage, if you put pressure around it and try to keep the venom from going around your body, you actually will cause the tissue to die even more. Because what happens after you get bit by a rattlesnake?
It'll concentrate the venom.
Is like, well, it's not about concentrating the venom. It's about you want blood flow to that so it will live. Because you want to have a hand at the end of the day. You want to have a leg at the end of the day.
True that.
You want to get to medical attention as quickly as possible. Really, if the whole thing about keeping it below the heart, that, take anything off of it that would be restricting it, keep it below the heart and get to the hospital as quickly as possible. But I saw an article recently that they're actually running out of antivenom. There was one-
Which you've told me before, it's called antivenin.
Antivenin is the technical name, but antivenom is accepted because so many people say it. But this
is anti-dog venin.
They're running out. There's one company that made most of it in the world, and they said like 5 years ago, we're stopping doing this, and we're gonna be making something else. And they didn't tell they told everybody, but people didn't really respond.
Nobody stepped up and started making it?
Nobody else is making it, and like within a year, they're gonna be out of it at a lot of places.
Sounds like a business opportunity for Rhett and Link.
Yeah, come on, people.
Rhett and Link merch, anti-venin.
It's 2015. Are we really in a place where we're gonna run out of anti-venom? Somebody step up. Maybe that company that start making it again, guys. People are gonna get snake bit. It's gonna be horrible.
You know what this is? This is capsaicin. That's that really hot stuff, right?
Yeah, it's just a extract.
Active ingredient, capsaicin, and it's dog repellent for personal protection from dog attack.
That's all pepper spray is, man.
But how is it any different than pepper spray?
It's not. It just says for dogs on it. That would be my guess.
Now I was gonna spray it, but I'm afraid to spray this.
Oh, don't spray that. If you spray that, we will be
it.
cleared out of here for the rest of the day.
Right, but I'm gonna keep it.
You just spray it on a dog.
I'm gonna keep it.
That's attacking you.
I'm gonna keep it on my my belt right here, pointing towards you.
You can probably spray that at a bear.
Bring it on, bear. Ask me another question and then tell me a crazy survival story.
Okay. Another woman, also named Margaret, is frolicking, and I ran out of women's names real fast.
Right, there's not a lot of, they announced that they were gonna stop making women's names a few years ago and no one stepped up to start making them.
Leslie and Margaret, that's all there is. So I had to use Margaret twice. Something my dad would say. What I just said is something my dad would say. I had to use Margaret twice. Shout out to you, Dad. I know you don't watch. Mom watches, and then she says, well, they're talking about you, Jimmy. Come in here and they're talking about you, and he'll watch that. Love you, Dad. Another woman also named Margaret is frolicking in the shallow water as a Baywatch lifeguard.
Awesome.
When suddenly she steps on a stingray. I think that you know the answer to this. I feel like
pee on the hands. Get the lifeguard. Get all the lifeguards to gather around and just
should
pee.
Margaret A, elevate her heart rate as much as possible to flush the toxins out. B, step off of the stingray and shuffle her feet along the seafloor until she reaches shore. C,
that's true.
Urinate on the sting.
That's also true.
Or D, die as gracefully as she lived.
All three of those. So B, C, and D are all true.
Okay. Not an option.
Allie was stung by a stingray. And that's when I learned that all of the California lifeguards are trained to not pee while on the job so that they got a full tank whenever someone comes up for a stingray sting.
Right.
And they all run down the beach with full bladders and they just blast the stung area. Mm-hmm. It's like firefighters.
Yeah, that's true.
Like dousing a fire.
What's your answer?
B, C, and D. It's all three.
Okay.
I know you're supposed to shuffle your feet because she told me that.
B is the correct answer. C is incorrect. You're not supposed to urinate on the sting. That is a myth.
I lied about all that.
I have heard some people say that you're supposed to put vinegar on it, but again, I don't know. All I know is that the shuffling of the feet is, you should shuffle your feet when you're walking in the ocean in any place that there's, stingrays are suspected, because shuffling they only sting you when you step on top of them. Mm-hmm. So if you shuffle, they can kind of feel that you're coming and then you kind of just move them out of the way and then they get away from you. But the urination thing doesn't actually do anything. But I've heard that vinegar works, but who has vinegar at the beach?
Oh, me. I keep a bottle in my swimsuit.
What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get the stinger out, and I don't know. I'm not going to make any prescriptions on how to do that because I don't know what it is.
Has anyone here been stung by a stingray? Jellyfish. Allie has, like I said, but she's not in here.
She's not in here.
She said it was extremely painful for like a couple of days.
Yeah, for a while, yeah.
And then her body went into this mode where she went to sleep for the next few days to recover.
Now, the one thing that in this research that I learned that I did not know was this thing about attacking a cougar on the inside of the mouth. And I'm talking about the animal at this point.
I still don't get that one. Like you punch them inside of the mouth.
So,
assuming that.
I mean, really as far as we got was you're supposed to get your hands into the back of their throat and make a hook and push down, which obviously this seems crazy to stick your, I think this is like I am being attacked. Like I think that I'm gonna get damaged real bad already, so I gotta stop this and I'm gonna do the throat thing. But typically if you see a mountain lion, and there's signs all around my house that say mountain lion spotted in this area. Mm-hmm.
Scary.
You're supposed to just make yourself big, make yourself loud because they're skittish and they
say open wide, I'm about to shove my arm down your throat.
But apparently it works with leopards too, because a guy named Carl Akeley, this is an article over at crack.com, he's a taxidermist, inventor, and biologist, conservationist, and nature photographer. Man of many trades, all to do with
Wow, taxidermist and
nature.
Biologist?
So,
what did he do?
Well, I want to give you the highlights of the story. Okay, there he is with the leopard. Okay.
He killed it.
So he came across a leopard and failed to kill it with his rifle during an African expedition. This happened a while back. So with no other option in sight, he grabbed the leopard by the throat and started jamming his right hand into its mouth. Apparently he knew enough about leopard anatomy to know that this was gonna work. So the cat was surprised at first, but then found itself suffocating.
Good gosh.
He kept on pushing his hand deep into the throat of the beast, choking it from the inside. In the end, he managed to kill the leopard with one long, slow, prolonged punch to the tonsils. And here he is with the leopard that he killed.
Gosh.
As you can imagine, his right arm got a little bit damaged in the process. And that's actually a pretty small
His left
leopard.
arm is the one that's...
They get really, really big.
The left hand is the one that's bandaged. His right arm and his left hand, so he's probably biting his right arm, and then his left fist went down into the beast and killed it. Good gracious.
I think the real test of a lot of this stuff is, though, are you going to remember what you're supposed to do when it's actually happening, right? So I know that if you run into a bear in California, that it is a black bear. Even if the bear is blonde, even if the bear is almost white, so it is a black bear.
Get big and intimidating.
And so you always get big and intimidating. Whereas with a grizzly bear, you want to play dead, but grizzly bears, also called brown bears, not in California anymore. They're extinct, even though they're still on the California flag. They're not actually in California anymore.
Don't play dead.
So if you're in California and you're running into a bear, I think that applies to Yosemite as well. I don't think there's any black bears any brown bears in Yosemite anymore. But like, let's just say that I see a big, because the black bears get big. Like your neighbor was saying that he got one on camera that was like a 500-pound black bear. And there was also one in our neighborhood a couple weeks ago that was just found in somebody's front yard eating a deer. It was just in their front yard just eating a deer, a big bear.
Awesome.
So if you see that bear,
get big and get loud.
Don't you think that 90% of people are still just gonna run? I mean, you're like, I know I'm supposed to act big, but I want to run into my garage. Well, I want to run away from it.
Well, yeah, if I'm at my front door or something, but if I'm out in the woods, then I gotta do the right thing. But here, a cougar's trying to bite me. Here, let me stick my hand down his throat. That's still kind of difficult to do. Or play dead. If you encounter a grizzly in Alaska or something, that's pretty amazing.
There's lots of interesting tales of people doing that, though, like playing dead, because I think you're supposed to play dead with a polar bear as well, right?
Regale us with your tales in the comments of ways that you survived animal attacks, and we'll be forever grateful if it saves one of us or our children.
Save a life.
One day. I'll hunt down your comment and I'll shove my hand onto the keyboard and I'll say thanks.